Hello, 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 my beautiful Virgos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I love you guys. This is video number 2. Okay, don't forget to check out video number 1. All right. Yes, y'all got a lot of energy, Virgo. Self transformation. A lot of you going through a major transformation, transformation. You could be finally getting your own identity back. Because at the bottom of this deck, it says your self identity. Okay? Your self identity. You getting your own identity. You finally living for yourself. You realizing who you are. You're learning a lot about you. You done tapped into your whole being. Okay, a lot of selfness here. Self transformation, self love, self identity. And it says, Virgo, embrace. Embrace self transformation as a journey of evolution and growth. So you're going through, see that butterfly? You're going through a major self, baby. That's what I say. Some of y'all out here y'all looking different. You out here looking different. You look good. Okay, your identity, acknowledging, and let me read this. I ain't got my glasses on. Hold on. Not only a self transformation, like Miss Positive Thoughts of Energy, I really understand what self love means. Acknowledging and affirm your true identity to build self worth. Learning who you are, learning who you really are, and that is what's going to help where you're going to have a stern foundation within yourself. And it's all about the transformation, baby. You are looking very confident out here. You looking very real. You have that strength, that glow, that strength about yourself. I mean, you just caring and loving on you. You're taking better care of yourself. Your skin looking better. You're taking better care of your skin. You're eating better, and you're working out, and you're doing this or doing that, or you're getting a lot of rest, or you're just loving on yourself. Some of you could be doing mirror work. You could be doing shadow work, learning what it is to love you, finding your identity, finding who you are. Because a long time, for a lot of years, some of you lost your identity in relationships. Some of you grew up as a child and you lost your identity because you was trying to carry out things that your parents wanted you to carry out. Whatever the situation is, you're learning who you are. One more, spirit. You're learning who you are. That's beautiful. Emotional balance. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes, maintain emotional balance to persevere inner stability and harmony. So, not only self care, you're learning how to balance those emotions out. These cards are very, very deep. Okay, if you just look at them, if you can understand these cards I'm putting up, that means that your consciousness, your intellect, your level of consciousness is rising, because these are very deep thought cards. Okay, so as you're looking at these cards, let your mind take you there. Let your mind take you there. As you're looking at this card, let your mind and your thoughts take you there. Okay? As you're looking at these cards, let your mind and your thoughts take you there. You have done an excellent, an amazing job on self-love, self-care. You are beginning to understand the assignment, or you understand the assignment that you have to emotionally balance your life out, balance your emotions, that emotions of intellect and emotions, when to turn on your emotions and when to turn them off. You have brought balance into yourself, and that has a lot to do with self-care, self-love. As you see this caterpillar, you see how deep this card is. Look at this card. That's a caterpillar. You see that? You see, that was once a caterpillar. At least that's how I see it. That's how deep my mind is. A caterpillar, where this butterfly is coming out of this caterpillar, okay, cocoon into a butterfly. You see that? Yeah, you can screenshot that if you want to. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that fascinating? You are finally evolving. Finally, you are evolving into a new you. You look good. You're glowing. Yeah, I mean, you just look like Spirit Guys. God just poured a bucket of healing water over your life. Okay, so let's see what Spirit is talking about. We know it's all about your self care, self balancing your emotions. True. Yeah, look at there. True. Real. Your cup is you're ready. I don't know who you are, but Spirit Guys God said congratulations. I just heard that just as clear. You're ready for love. Your cup is ready. You got your own cup. Your cup is ready. Congratulations. Congratulations, Virgo. Your cup. Emotional balance. You did it. You did it. Even though there's still some things that we all have to work on, but you have done a lot. You're coming out of your cocoon. You are the self transformation. You did it. Go, Virgo. Tell me more, Spirit, about the self transformation. You have emotional balance. Your cup is ready. Yes. Self love, self care. Look at here. You have let go of you. Okay. Number one, with the self transformation, learning to love you, learning to pour into you. Self care, compassion, and love for yourself. Compassion and love for you. That's priceless. And it took some while. It took a while for you to learn to be more kind and loving towards yourself. And it took some time because this is the caterpillar. Okay, you've been in your cocoon to learn how to emotionally balance yourself out. The good and the bad, the dark and the light, the emotions, the intellect with the emotions, and now you're standing. You are stabled. Okay, you're stabled and you're ready. You're stabled and you're ready, Virgo, because you got with the Five of Swords. You let go of negative thinking. You psychologically let go of a lot of. It's like you change your perspective when it comes down to a lot of self inflictions upon you on you. This wasn't with other people. Other people had a lot to do with it, but you had to learn to stop self inflicting yourself. And that was, sabotaging and putting a lot of thoughts in your mind that does not belong there. Learning how to be kind and compassionate to yourself, and letting go of negative thinking, and also your ego. You let your ego go. You let your ego go. And a lot of people's like, with the ego, what is the ego? The ego is balancing between dark and light, because we're always going to wrestle with the ego, right? But once you come into the balance, once you come into the alignment of balance with your ego, it's like dark and light. You can kind of balance that. Okay, if not, your ego can overjudge your happiness. Okay, your ego is stubborn placement. You're in your placement. You're not going to move. You're not going to change. You don't see no change. You're fighting against what God's will is. You're fighting to what's the right thing to do. Da 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 da. And so it's like this. This is dark. This is light. And when your ego is in the way, the light, it overshadows the light. So the dark takes over the light, the ego, from seeing what is literally light, awakening to what is best. You suppress the light and you just stay in your ego. And when you're in your ego, you sabotage yourself, because that's where the thinking and doing things, and a lot of times regretting a lot of things that you shoulda, coulda, woulda done. Okay, that pride, that ego will cause you to miss out in life, it will make you hurt other people. And the ego don't allow you to see a side of yourself. But so now, with the emotions and the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups here, you have brought balance into it. This is your dark, this is your light. So therefore, if I say something to you right now and I trigger you, you take it. You see what I'm saying? You balance it, and you use it as a tool. But if I say something to you and it triggers you, and if you're not a healed person, that ego gonna come. That ego gonna step over, and the ego is going to, cause you to, because somebody's trying to tell me what to do, when it's nothing about telling you what to do, it's what the right thing to do. And so you allow the dark to take over the light. And so when you're emotionally balanced here, as you can see the scale here, that's how I look at the card. Yeah, that is. It's a scale. You see that scale here between dark and light. When you're emotionally balanced, it's like, okay, you're there. You're dark and your light is balanced. Okay, all right, nothing's off. So therefore, you can, and sometimes we get like this where our ego might take over a little bit like that. Sometimes our ego might get in the way, but you'll bring it back into balance. Everything is about balance. Your whole chakra, your whole body is about balance, okay? So you let go of a lot of the ego. You let go of a lot of negative thinking in your mind, and also removing yourself away from a lot of situations that will contaminate your thoughts. So you had to go into cocoon, and you had to do a lot of self-reflection, a lot of self-transformation, and embraced this evolution of your growth, okay? And so that is where you came in, and you started to form. You've always had an identity. You are who you are. I'm positive thoughts and energy. I was born here. I am the age here. You always had your identity, but a lot of times we lose that identity when we're in relationships and connections. We lose ourselves, and because you're trying to live, and you're trying to please other people or trying to please somebody, we begin to lose our own identity. Who am I? What am I here for? What am I doing? I don't even know myself. You ever been in a relationship or ever heard somebody talking about a relationship or marriage, and they could tell you all about their other person's, their partner purpose, and what they did, but what did you do? What's your purpose? What you like to do? What you want to do? You never thought about yourself because you was living through someone else. So now you've formed your own identity, your self identity. And now you know what your purpose. If you don't know where your purpose, you're headed that way. Now you know who you are. Now you know what you stand for. Now you have the ability, your consciousness to to consume and to sponge all information that you need to round your self identity. Tell me more, Spirit, about this self identity. So, this is a beautiful thing. Congratulations, Spirit is saying. Congratulate yourself. It takes time. Thank you, Spirit. Self identity. Yeah, I feel like what his self identity is, what Spirit is clarifying, is that you don't care about what nobody say about you anymore. The gossip, the talk. Oh, and at one point in time, you used to be so worried about what people thought, how people, perceived you. No matter what they say, you realize that if you're doing good, they're going to talk about you. If you're doing bad, they're going to talk about you. It doesn't matter. But realizing that sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. When it comes down with this Page of Swords in the reverse, clarifying this self-identity, we can sometimes be our own worst enemy because we put a lot of bad things, a lot of thoughts, and we talk down on ourselves, and we pick on ourselves, and we say jokes and stuff about ourselves, and we call ourselves fat and with jokes and stuff. We can also be our own worst enemy. We can also, you can be very hard on yourself. And so I feel as though that even though the Page of Swords is in the reverse, I feel like you stop worrying about what other people thought about you or what other people think about you. You have your own identity, rather, whatever that is, sexually or whatever that is, when it comes down to your confidence of who you are, what you are made up of, what your makeup is, what your makeup of yourself is. You no longer worry about what nobody has to say. It doesn't matter what nobody else has to say because you believe in you. You have your own identity. You know your worth. You know your value. You know who you are. You have self-worth. It has taken a lot for some of you to build your identity back up because someone that was in your life, it doesn't matter, family or whoever, relationship, husband, wife, it don't matter. They brought your self-esteem down and you lost your identity, and it talked down a lot of mental abuse, and you had to build yourself from ground up with your own true identity of who you are. And now some of you are realizing what my purpose is. What am I doing? What am I here for? Who am I? Some people really think they know who they are, but really you don't know who you are until you know who you are. My God. Sometimes you don't know who you are until you know who you are. Let me say that one more time in case somebody went to the bathroom. Sometimes you don't know who you are until you know who you are. My goodness. Tell me more in spirit about this energy for Virgo. Yeah, sometimes you don't know who you are until you know who you are. And you have found out who you are. Finally, Miss Pastor energy. I have found out who I am. Finally, I know who I am. Finally, I know, I'm living for me. I'm finally living for me. I have stopped existing, and I have started to live. I have started to wake up every day and realize that I am who I am. That I am him, I am her. I realize that it is my identity that is my identity. It is my identity that defines who I am. Yeah. You don't know who you are until you know who you are. And you have done a lot of healing, a lot of pouring into yourself. You have become a star, a lot of pouring into yourself, Virgo. Some of you are really shining brightly. You have this light around you. You have the angels. You have, Spirit is telling me a twilight star, twinkle, twinkle. My God, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, I wonder who you are. Oh, my God. Stop, Spirit. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, I wonder who you are. You don't know who you are until you know who you are. Twinkle, twinkle. You have done a lot of healing, and now you know who you are. And it takes a lot to realize when you have been broken, when your identity has been lost, when you have lost your identity, and to build yourself back up, and to heal, and to pour into yourself, and to pour fully into yourself, and to stand in your self-worth. And do you realize, who am I? And you realize, I don't know who I am until I know who I am. When you know who you are, you won't have to ask that question, who am I? Because I am who I am, that I am. I am her, I am he. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, baby. Oh, how I wonder who you are. You are a light. You are a star of God. You are a light of God. You are a light. You are a chosen one. You are a star. Spirit guys, God has replenished your soul, your mind, body, and your soul. You have healed. You have made a major self-transformation. My God. Spirit said the fountain of youth. Spirit is saying the fountain of youth. Some of you have, through this healing, through this stage of identity, you have taken 10 years off of your life. I don't know why Spirit gave me 10 years. You have taken 10 years off your life. That means that you're aging backwards. Oh, wow. Fountain of youth, you're aging backwards. Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle. Take what resonates, everybody. Sometimes my readings will get real deep, but I know you would not be here if you could not understand it. And I know every last one of you are very intellectual and you understand the assignment. But twinkle, twinkle, little star, listen to the message. Be very vigilant to everything that I'm saying. Oh, how I wonder who you are. You are now a fountain of youth. You have aged backwards. Yeah. Spirit guides God have aged you backwards. You could be 60 and you look like you're 50. You can be 50 and look like you're 40. You can be 40, look like you're 30. Under the sound of my voice, you are aging backwards. Fountain of youth. It's what Spirit is telling me. Twinkle, twinkle, star, healing. You have healed yourself and you have knocked off 10 years of aging to 10 years of replenishment. You have knocked off 10 years of aging forward to 10 years that you're aging backwards. Tell me more, Spirit. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, how I wonder what you are, who you are. A lot of you are realizing who you are now. A lot of you realizing a lot about yourself. A lot of you realizing out of all the years that you've been on this earth, it's a lot of things you did not know about yourself. Out of all these years of living, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, you have learned something about yourself you never knew about yourself. And that's because you was in a cocoon of learning and in a cocoon of transformation, in a cocoon of evolving and growth. And Spirit is telling me that God had to rewire you all over again. You had to be rewired all over again. Look at that. It's that I look at that as my mind go deep sometimes, y'all. I look at that as a uterus. I look at that as a woman's belly. Okay, my mind goes real deep. I look at it as a child in a belly, a uterus. The stomach. And just take it. I trust where I'm going. Trust the process, and it's like Spirit guys went in there, and it's like, okay, Spirit is saying like a baby. That's why I say you're aging backwards. Youth, fountain of youth. Thank you, Spirit guys, God. Fountain of youth. Fountain of youth. Wow. And now you have the Knight of Cups. Now you're emotionally balanced. Not only that, your heart is no longer blocked. It came out in the reverse. You're not blocked. You are now ready. You're ready to start a new beginning of your true identity. Some of you have been living under a false identity, even though you are who you are, but it was false. That means you was not being your true self. You was not real. You were not being your true self. Wow, this can be very deep, y'all. Talk to me, Spirit. Sometimes you have to listen to a video more than one time to really get the understanding of the message the Spirit is trying to tell you. A lot of times, when you're going through a self-transformation, when you're doing a lot of self-healing, it can be very hard, okay? Battling with your own self. Battling with your own self-worth, battling of who you are, trying to figure out who you are. Why am I here? What am I doing? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Looking for answers, trying to figure it out. You've built all your life, but you're still looking for that one wand to put back in the place of the 9 of wands. You're still trying to find that one wand. You have fought, you have struggled with your own identity. You have battled against your own self. Your own self, even though people battled against you, or even though people was against you, caused a lot of drama and conflict, but you battled with your own self because you didn't know who you were. You didn't know your identity. And you stood there and you tried to figure out, where does this wand go? And it's time, this wand is you amongst everyone else, wearing, losing your identity to other people's. You finally got your own identity. You stand in your own ground. I see this psychologically. Spirit is showing me in my third eye These are people that your identity that you worried about, and you was living for other people, and you didn't even know who who you was, your own self-worth, your own self, your own self. Now you have your own stick. You have your own wand. You are in your worth. You know who you are. Who am I? Who am I? After being battered and bruised, you see the head and the knees yeah. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? After battling with yourself, your self-worth of who you are, who you were. Angels, star, angels, cups, fountain of youth, angels pouring into you, star, cups, pouring into you. Very significant. Yeah. Spirit guides, God poured into you. Replenish you. Angels gave you your angel wings. You lost yourself, baby. Whoever you are, listening under the sound of my voice. At one point in time in your life, you lost yourself. You lost yourself. Your wings were broken. Your wings was weak. Your wings were weak. Yeah. The Spirit guides, God had to put you in a cocoon. You had to go through a transformation. And now you have done the work. You have done the work. You have done the work after being left out in the cold and mistreated and all kind of things happening that happened to you. You don't know who you are until you know who you are. Damn, you have made a sudden change in your life, the Tower. Sudden change in your life. Did y'all see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? It took some time, but you are ready. You're ready. You're ready. You know your worth now. You have a backbone. You got your wings back. I'm Positive Thoughts and Energy. When we realize after all the hurt and pain that we have endured through people, interacting with people, family, friends, relationships, situationships, whatever interaction that you had that caused a lot of hurt and pain, caused you to lose yourself, caused you to lose your identity. When you sit back and you realize and you find yourself again, when you realize who you are, because you don't know who you are until you know who you are. And when you found out who you was and you realized what you stand up for and you got yourself balanced, your emotion balanced, you got yourself balanced, and you start pouring into yourself and you start loving you and you stop fighting against yourself. You stop fighting against you. You was rebellious against yourself. You were fighting you. You were fighting to get to know you. You were fighting to learn you. You were fighting yourself. You were beating yourself alive from the inside out. That's why you had so much heavy, dark energy over your life. Because a lot of times, the enemy that we're fighting is the enemy that lies within ourselves. I'm Positive Thoughts and Energy, my beautiful souls. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, how you have grown and came so far. I love you guys, and I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work and don't you dare stop now. Until next time, Virgo.